Abilities issues and updates on BCTV is supported by the Berks County Center for Independent Living, Abilities in Motion.
Issues and updates. In case you don't know who I am Teresa Faulkner, and I am the Consumer Community Outreach Coordinator at Abilities in Motion. We are located at 210 North 5th Street, Reading, Pennsylvania. The zip code is 19601. Important, our phone number is 610-376-0010. To our viewers, thank you for joining us today. Today's topic is Public Participation Plan. Our guest is Michael Golembowski. If I said that right, Transportation Modeler. So nice to have you with us, Michael. Welcome.
Appreciate being here, Teresa. Thank you.
Welcome. I hope I didn't butcher that name too much.
Not at all.
Please forgive me if I did.
You're fine.
Okay, let's get started. We're going to be talking about a survey that is going to be taking place, but let's get some questions. Let's get some information first. What exactly is the Reading Area Transportation Study, or RATS?
Well, you mentioned at the very beginning that we were talking about public participation. Mm-hmm. And what we're talking about specifically is public participation in the transportation planning process.
Okay.
The Reading Area Transportation Study, or RATS as it's known, it's two bodies of elected and appointed officials who do all of the transportation planning and programming for Berks County.
Okay.
What that means is all of the projects that you see out there happening on the roadways, mm-hmm. they need to be funded, they need to be planned, we need to know when they're going to happen. It is these two bodies who make those plans and programs and who work to get that funding. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The transportation study is actually made up of two boards. One is the advisory body known as the Technical Committee, made up of representatives from PennDOT, from the County Planning Commission, from the City of Reading. BARDA is represented, as well as the Reading Regional Airport. The Coordinating Committee, these are mostly elected officials.
Okay.
But again, it's PennDOT from Harrisburg, mm-hmm. and our local district from the Allentown office is represented. The county commissioners are represented, the Berks County Planning Commission, the City of Reading, as well as townships, boroughs, BARDA, and the Reading Regional Airport Authority as well.
So in short, you're actually planning for the future of transportation, different situations, circumstances in Berks County.
We plan for the entire county, that is correct.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And it's done through a number of actual documents or plans and programs.
Okay.
We have one, the Long Range Transportation Plan, which looks out 20 years.
Okay.
We have one called the Transportation Improvement Program, or we call it the TIP. It's a 4-year document, but we update it every 2 years.
Okay.
Funding levels change, project schedules change, so we update that every 2 years. We do what we call congestion management programming or mm-hmm. process, CMP.
Okay.
We look at particular corridors throughout the county. Where is there congestion? What is causing that congestion? How can we mitigate that congestion? Okay. What steps can we take?
Okay.
We also do other studies. We look at bicycle and pedestrian planning. Mm-hmm. We do air quality planning for all those projects. We have to make sure we don't degrade the air quality in Berks County. Mm-hmm. We work closely with other federal and state partners. We work very closely with other non-government agencies, such as Abilities in Motion, to make sure that we're reaching the public in all the ways that we can. Because transportation planning affects everybody.
Yes.
If you walk, if you ride a bicycle, you take a bus, drive in a car, freight has to go from a manufacturer to a store where you purchase it. Whether your oil is going to a refinery on a railroad or through a tanker truck, everybody is affected by transportation every day of their lives.
You've given us a lot of information there, but what exactly is your role in RATS?
I am actually an employee of the Berks County Planning Commission. We're county employees. We serve as staff to the RATS boards. We are not separate employees of RATS. We're paid by the county. We're county employees.
Okay.
My particular job is I am what is known as a transportation modeler. My primary function is actually to work with the air quality models to make sure that all of the projects and all the plans and all the programs don't degrade air quality. But I also have a number of other jobs that I do. Specifically, I do bicycle and pedestrian transportation planning. One of my major roles is also working on, to make sure we meet all the guidelines under Title VI of the, we meet Title VI, various other executive orders.
Okay.
And of course, under all of that comes public participation.
Okay.
The reason we're all here today.
Wonderful. Please explain what the public participation plan that we're discussing about. Please explain to us some more about that. Short, simple, sweet.
Short, simple, sweet.
As much as you can.
Okay. Everything that we just spoke about in the last 5 minutes
Okay.
all revolves around how the public uses the transportation system.
Okay.
And when I say the transportation system, it's not just cars and roadways. It's sidewalks. It's accessibility. It's public transportation. It's rail. It's airports. It's the entire system.
Okay.
We need to make sure that, number one, the public knows how transportation is planned in the county. The public needs to have input into those various processes to make sure that what we are doing does not adversely impact any particular group, individual, or segment of the community.
How is, let me just ask you this question. Do you deal with curb cuts? Do you deal with transportation problems? And if you don't, who does? Give me 2 scenarios.
And this is one of the areas where it helps to know the entire process.
Okay.
Roadways in Berks County are owned by 2 entities, either PennDOT or the local municipalities, townships, boroughs, and the city.
Okay.
The county itself only owns about 2 miles of roadway, and that's the roadway out near the Heim and the prison.
Okay.
The county itself does not own any roadways other than that. So therefore, we, under RATS and under the county, do not necessarily work with curb cuts, for example. Now, under a pedestrian transportation plan, we may examine areas where there are deficiencies.
Okay.
But for the most part, sidewalks, curb cuts are a municipal function.
Oh.
Most municipalities will have it in their ordinances that a property owner is responsible for sidewalks.
Okay. Okay.
Curb cuts are the responsibility of either PennDOT or the municipality, not the county.
Okay.
So for example, right now, all of the work that's been going on Washington Street.
Yes, we see a lot of work, a lot of work.
If you recall last year, there were a number of curb cuts that were replaced or put in on Washington Street. That was done by PennDOT's contractor in preparation for the repaving that's actually been taking place over the last 2 weeks.
Okay. Good.
And will continue for probably the next month or so. Sidewalks are another big issue, especially here in the city, for example, where you've got older sidewalks, tree root heaving, you have brick, and then slate, and then concrete, and then maybe nothing. Again, that is, under city ordinances, a property owner's responsibility.
And I think at many times, when our mayor was here last year sometime, we talked about that there's a number that if persons have questions, call that customer service number. They'll be able to direct you to the right persons that they need to speak to. So we appreciate that. We need to let our viewers know that we are talking about rats, but it is not the kind of rats that you think. It is from the Reading Area Transportation Study. And Michael was actually here, and he's explaining to us about the participation plan that is in place. Let me ask you a question. Why is it important for persons with disabilities to take part in this participation plan? Why is it important?
Persons with disabilities, just like every person out there, use the transportation system.
Okay.
They drive, or they use public transit, or they walk, or they're in their wheelchairs or their motorized wheelchairs. Persons who have visual disabilities need to know where they're going. But they're all using the transportation system.
Okay.
And I keep saying the transportation system because we have to constantly remember it includes sidewalks, it includes intersections, it includes streets, it includes public transportation. It's all part of a system
Okay.
of moving people and goods.
Okay, okay.
Persons with disabilities do obviously have special needs within, or for them to properly use the transportation system. We need to make sure that their voices are heard.
Absolutely.
Along with everybody's voices,
Absolutely.
to make sure that any improvements that occur within the system do not adversely affect persons with disabilities, or just to make sure that nobody's being left out of the process. One thing to remember, planning is a process. It's not a once and done deal. It's a continuous process.
Thank you so much. We say that you said in your conversation that we're updating the plan. Does that mean something was wrong, or is it just making it better for the times that we live in?
The current public participation plan was adopted by the RACS board in 2014.
Okay.
What we're doing right now is we periodically update all of our plans and processes, obviously.
Okay.
What has happened, though, is over the last 3 years, it's become clear to us that there are some segments of the community that we may not be reaching as well as we should be.
Okay.
Obviously, as you know, the Latino community in Berks
Yes.
County has been growing significantly.
Very much so.
We are mostly non-Latino speakers in our office. So one of the issues that we face is, how do we reach out to that community?
Okay.
Are there other communities within the county that we're not reaching out to? And if we're not, how can we better reach them?
Okay.
The public participation plan itself overall guides everything we do in our outreach methods, from how we advertise meetings to the time frames for those advertisements. Where do we advertise?
Okay.
What triggers advertisements and outreach? How do we use social media or not use it?
Okay.
And the plan itself, this update, is essentially looking at all of those issues and just helping us to ensure that we're doing a better job in reaching out to everybody in Berks County.
Great. You've given us a lot of information, but can you tell me what are the methods you are using to get input into these updates? What is the method you're using?
We've actually started this process back in January.
Of this year?
January of this year, yes.
Mm-hmm.
How have we reached out so far? Obviously, we have mailing lists, a lot of mailing lists. We sent direct notifications out to those folks. The Reading Eagle has given us some wonderful press coverage.
Okay.
WEEU has as well. We held 2 public meetings, both in February. We had one in the evening out at the Berks County Agricultural Center. We had one daytime meeting here in town at the BARDA offices
Okay.
to make sure that we could get everybody, as many people as we could. We had some great input at those public meetings. We've had a survey that's been out there, online and on paper, since the beginning of February. That survey has already told us an awful lot.
Wonderful.
Some things that we do so well, some things that maybe we should try that we don't do right now.
Okay.
That survey is actually still out there.
Okay.
We have some steps coming up. We're not finished with this process yet. We'll talk about those upcoming steps in a couple minutes.
Sure, sure.
But we've gone out, we've met with individuals. Abilities in Motion has been wonderful. We met with your Consumer Action Group.
Yes, yes.
Once or twice. All of our meetings have been advertised. In fact, representatives from your organization have come to our monthly meetings.
Wonderful.
I mean, we've done as much as we think we can to get the word out there about what we're doing and why we're doing it.
I think you can agree education is power. It is power. If you understand the process and you want to be a part of the process, then you actually have to become a part of the process. One of the things I was actually thinking about, I always see the sign from our mayor that says positive change. And in order to be a part of change, you actually need to be a part of the process. And from the disability or the persons with disability community, we play a big part in that particular process. Can you tell me a little more about the survey?
The survey itself essentially asks three major questions. Number one, do you know about the transportation planning process?
Okay.
Give us an overall guideline of how well we get our word out there. Do people actually know what happens? Who does the planning? Why do we do it? And what we found is about 60 to 70% of the people that answered the survey really don't know who RATS is, what we do, why we do it, how we do it. So that in itself tells us an awful lot. And then the next two major questions are, what methods can we use to get information out to the consumer? And then on the flip side of that coin, what methods can we use to get information back from the consumers?
Good.
Because, I mean, remember, everybody that's using that transportation system is actually, they're using a product, they're a consumer. So we need to make sure that there's two-way communication between the users of the system and those who are doing the planning for the system.
One of the things I thought about is in our viewers participating in this survey, and because of the fact that you brought up that there is a very large Latino population, is the survey only in English or is it in both?
Right now, the survey is in English. We just this week received a translated version in Spanish. We will have that available in paper and to download from online sources.
Okay.
We are in the process of having a SurveyMonkey version created.
Okay.
And that will be up by the end of next week.
And that's something where they actually go into the computer and they're able to complete the survey, submit the survey, and it's all done.
That is correct.
Is there any other way that they can do a survey other than, say, via on their computer? Can they contact?
They can contact the Berks County Planning Commission. Our phone number is 610-478-6300. We will be happy to send them out a paper survey. There are a number of advocacy groups like Abilities in Motion, where consumers can go, and when they're meeting with a caseworker or one of the individuals helping them out, they actually have paper surveys there that they will help the consumer answer the survey.
Absolutely.
I know three groups that are doing that for us right now. So it's either through the computer, you can call our offices, we'll get you one, or if you happen to be in the services center downtown at 633 Court Street, come on up to the 14th floor, I'll be happy to hand you a survey.
Wonderful, wonderful. You said you had received some surveys. Who are those persons that you've actually received information from so far?
So far, the vast majority have come in through the SurveyMonkey tool, so they've been online. We've received over 150 responses so far. Now, that survey's been out since the beginning of February. What has happened is responses have gone down since press coverage has kind of waned. When we start the formal public input process, which we'll talk about in a second, we'll be getting more in, I'm sure. What we've heard from people so far is actually, we already talked about the first part, about 60 to 70% of the respondents really don't know who RATS is, what we do, why we do it, how we do it. We asked people about various methods that we could use to get information out to them. It became very clear right out of the chute that the standard legal notice in the local print media doesn't really work.
Okay.
So right there, that tells us we need to look at other methods.
Okay.
A vast majority of people said we need to have a better social media presence.
Okay. Okay.
Right now, the Berks County Planning Commission has a Facebook page, which we try to use, but since the transportation planning is somewhat separate from the county planning side, there really is a missing link there. So it's something we need to look at further. We do a lot of direct emailing, which a lot of people find useful.
Yes.
Municipal newsletters was surprisingly a method that a lot of people said we should use.
Okay.
But social media came out to be the big method. And actually, instead of newspaper ads, stories. Working with our reporters and our media to actually get newspaper stories out there.
Wonderful.
Using media like Berks Community Television here. Local radio media like WEEU. People said that that was useful.
Wonderful.
So, need to expand our television presence a little more.
Wonderful. And we need to let you know that whenever Abilities in Motion is out and about in our community, we also will have copies of those surveys that you can actually get from us and submit them. You can return them back to us, and then we will then forward them to Michael into his office. I just have another question. If persons with disabilities would like to attend these public meetings, RATS, or the Public Participation Plan meetings, who would they contact prior to these meetings?
They would be able to contact myself directly or the County Planning Commission offices. Since we're county planning staff, that's where we're located. Again, our phone number is 610-478-6300. The RATS meetings, since there are two separate committees, the technical committee meets on the first Thursday of every month at 1:30 in the county planning offices, which are on the 14th floor of the Berks County Services Center.
Are those buildings handicapped accessible?
Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful.
The
We need to let
buildings
them know
are,
that.
our offices are, our meeting
Wonderful.
space is. And then the coordinating committee, which is the actual policy-making board. They meet on the third Thursday of every other month. The next meeting would be in May. Same place, same time, Planning Commission offices, 1:30 in the afternoon. If they can't make a meeting, but they're still looking for information, our agendas are posted online about roughly a week before the meeting. If you go to the County Planning Commission's website at countyofberks.com/planning, and on the left side, just click on Transportation Planning. RATS agendas are all available.
Wonderful.
You're free to come. Our meetings are all open to the public.
Wonderful.
Now,
Wonderful.
as far as actual meetings regarding the public participation plan, they have not been set yet.
Okay.
They will occur most probably in the late May throughout June timeframe.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of that information. Mr. Golombeski, you have given us a lot of information concerning the planning survey and where to go. And we want to let our viewers know that if you're interested in doing a survey, you can contact Abilities in Motion directly at 610-376-0010. My direct extension is 108, and I'd be more than happy to help you. Thank you so much for joining us in our show today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate being here.
It was a pleasure. We also want to let our viewers know, mark your calendars, July the 26th of 17, from the time is from 3 to 8 at the Inn at Reading. We are having our ADA celebration, our Americans Disabilities Act celebration, and we'd like for you to participate and be a part of that celebration. In closing today, we'd like to say, remember, our mayor always talks about, let's be a part of positive change. So if you have something that you have questions about, if you're a person with disabilities, if you have concerns and issues that you'd like for us to discuss, please give me a call. Teresa Faulkner. The number again is 610-376-0010. My direct extension is 108. We are here to help you become more independent here in Berks County. Thank you so much for joining us today. Enjoy your day.